Video we just want to go through some tips and tricks on how to work with Java in VS Code. And what we're actually going to start with is just making a brand new project. A lot of times this is kind of tricky if you don't know what exactly to do. So in a previous video we took a look at how to set up your extensions for Java. So we kind of assume that you have this stuff all set up here. So code runner, debugger, language support, and project manager. So hopefully those are your extensions. Cool. So we've shown up to an empty VS Code window. What we'd like to do is just make a new Java project. So again, to open this command palette is what it's called in VS Code. We can on a Mac hit Command-Shift-P or on a Windows Control-Shift-P. And what we can type in here is we can say Java. And so this will give us all of the different commands that are part of the Java extensions that we installed. First command is the Java create Java project. That's what we're going to do. So we hit enter. There's a bunch of fancy stuff here about build tools. We're not building some big application, so we don't need those right now. So we're going to hit no build tools. We're going to specify where we'd like our project to be saved. So I'm going to go through here, make a new project called test project 2. Hit create. Select the project location. Input a Java project name. So why don't I call this test app? Okay, so we did this. Now there's nothing open. In these projects that they set up for us, all of the code is in the src source directory. So we go in here, click app.java, and here we go. So we can close that out. So public class app puts together this main method for us, public static, blah, blah, blah. And it's got just a regular old print statement. Let's just make sure that this code works. And we can hit run code. We can hit run code, run Java. Honestly, we could do either one. Let's just press that play button, test it out a couple times. Cool. I'm just going to also go through a couple of helpful hints in here as we're going through this. To clear the terminal out, you can press this little clear output button. So I like to do this oftentimes if I finished running a program and I want a little fresh screen. Cool. So this is a pretty boring project. We've got just our main method. Most of the time in Java, we're working with a main method that's running our code, and then we have some classes that we're working with. So to add more classes, in here we always want to add our code to the source directory src. So we can click, if we highlight, if we click once on the source thing here, it's highlighted in blue, and we can click this new file button. So we can do kind of, we can go back and do our dog class as we did last time. So we can say dog.java. Cool. And so what's nice about VS Code as we're doing this is it'll actually fill in the name of the class for us. It'll fill out this little kind of boilerplate for us. So public class dog. That's great. So we can say here, we can just say, let's say string bark. Cool. So one thing you'll notice in VS Code is that it's often going to give you a bunch of red underlines. If you're in the middle of typing code, it can sometimes be annoying, but let's just get through the habit of dealing with the red underlines. So string bark. So it's not happy right now. It says string bark. This method must return a result of type string. Totally true. And that's because we haven't finished writing the code yet. But if we return the string woof, woof. Cool. Now we still have a red underline. Syntax error. Insert semicolon to complete block statements. I agree with that. We hit the semicolon, we're all good. And we can hit save. So Command S, Control S to save. And now we can go back to our app, Java. We can hit run here. And it should say hello world. Oh yeah, because we didn't do anything with our class. So we can say dog, my dog equals dog. And the method dog is undefined. Yeah, so we didn't type new, so we need new dog. Okay. So my dog equals new dog. Here's another classic one that might throw you off. You're in the middle of this. Wait, is something wrong? Because there's a yellow underline. Nothing's wrong. It's just a warning, and it says the value of the local variable my dog is not used. I also agree with that. We didn't do anything. So we can say system. Okay, so another thing. We're in the middle of typing this. There's a lot of output on this screen. A lot of output. One thing that I like to do is it's showing all of the different things in Java that starts with sy, which is okay. In some cases, that's not so bad, I guess. But it's also showing all of the documentation for all of these methods. And that's a lot to show on the screen. So if you hit this X button, it'll like never show up again. I mean, you can always click this stuff to like get the documentation back, but I would rather have to click to see the documentation than have it pop up automatically. But so it's going through, it's giving us our autocomplete, which is great. System.out print line, and we can say, so it's still saying that the dog variable isn't used, and that's true. So we can say my dog dot. And so the nice thing is we say the dot, and it's got all of the different methods we have available. To accept an autocomplete option, we can just hit enter. And so now print system.out.println my dog.bark. We're going to hit save, and we can hit run. Hello world, woof woof. Excellent. Cool. So let's now imagine that we want to get rid of this line of code. One thing we could do is we could hit backspace, 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 backspace. It's going to take a while. We could also like highlight it with our mouse and hit delete. One thing that I like to do to just get rid of a whole line of code is you can hit on Mac Command X, on Windows Control X, and that'll cut the whole line. So you can use this for cut and paste, but you can also just cut it and never paste it, and that's equivalent to just deleting the line of code. That's kind of nice. So we can do that. We can hit save, we can press play, and now it just says woof woof. That's great. Cool. Another nice feature of VS Code is if you're going through this system.out println my dog.bark, maybe we want to jump right to this bark method and change how it's implemented. So we can, on Windows or on Mac, command and hover, and then we can click, or on Windows, control, hover, and we can click. So we can click this, and now it's going to go right to that bark method. So it says string bark return woof woof. Cool. Okay, well, so one more feature we can look at is we just did Command X or Control X. We can also do Command C. And then we can, so Command C will actually copy the whole line. So we can do Command V, Command V, Command V, Command V, Command V all day long. So now this dog is going to bark 6 times. So we can press play, and it should, yeah, woof, 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 woof. It's barking all day. So just it's nice to have both cut and copy. Just having the whole line is kind of nice to have. So that's it for this video. And we can go through some fancier stuff in another video if we'd like.